Alright guys, hello to everyone in the Masterpiece KO is okay group that I posted this in, and the TFW 2005 post that I made in the Wei Jiang oversized modified KO thread of this Optimus Prime. I really apologize. Physical therapy school has really kept me busy. I'm in my senior year, so I just, between school, clinic, I don't have a break any day. I just did not have the time to come forward and show this to you guys. I know I promised this a couple of days ago, but I got some exams out of the way. And tonight I do have time to do this right, to not rush this, to properly show you guys. So you guys can hopefully do this yourself if you like the mod. That's really why I wanted to do this mod for myself. This is why, after I got a slew of people PMing me and asking in the group and on the boards, how did I do this, or did I do this, did I do that? I just wanted to get it out of the way and show you guys. So, like I said, you guys can either attempt and enjoy the mod yourself. I know some people are still, well, a lot of people are still waiting on the third batch. They weren't so sure about getting this guy. Um, I was fully convinced that I could change this and mod this into what I wanted, and to make it just a more accurate version of the MPM mold, which is what I have successfully done here. So I'm very happy with that. If you have seen my board post, I have shown you a before and after side by side. I have finished the left side at the time of the photo, and then I worked on his right side. So the right side was stock, left side was altered, and you can see the difference between them, how much of a difference this mod makes. So right now I kind of have an exploded view, so I didn't have to untab everything on camera. I will retab everything together and show you guys how to put it together. Um, but I have that of this is not the stock MPM mold. This is the Legendary Toys repaint, but it's exactly the same mold in terms of how it functions, except for transforming correctly. And this is the Wei Jiang Prime, the focus of this video. A couple quick other things I wanted to touch upon. Some questions people have asked about him, like, oh, how does he scale to this? How does he scale to that? Can you compare him to stuff like Challenger? I do actually have Challenger, so I will be showing that in this video as well for you guys. But most importantly, I really wanted to show this mod, get this out of the way, so you guys can stay around for the short discussion and a couple comparisons that I have after that. Or if you just wanted to see the mod, you can just watch this for the first couple of minutes, and you guys can go about your day and try it yourself. So I did look at the Chinese mod. That puts the windows closer together. I don't like that whatsoever. I don't. That does not put the windows lower. That keeps them up here and almost on top of this hinge, which, making them closer together on top of the sternal hinge, looks more appealing from a very two-dimensional standpoint. When you're looking at it from a photo straight on, I think it looks good. It doesn't alleviate the problem that the chest is just too much raised up, and because of that, and especially if it's on top of the hinge, it's puffed out too much. The MPM mold is already riddled with that issue, something that the Revenge of the Fallen leader did not have, because the Revenge of the Fallen leader's chest plate was just a little bit thinner. It had less material that it could just go on top of its frame. The MPM tried to have too many real parts in it and not really any faux parts, which I do applaud the attempt for. The Wei Jiang has, to my estimation, for like as an upgrade to the mold, has perfected it, to the point that I don't see this as a KO. This is, to me, 100% as an original mold that took inspiration from the MPM, as the MPM was that took inspiration from the Revenge of the Fallen leader almost 10 years prior. That's just my standpoint. Just because this is not officially licensed, people will still call it a KO. To me, this truly is like TE Prime or Challenger or Parochial. This is its own entity. How many different things they've done with it, and if you have it, you feel the not just the size and the weight difference, but just the quality. I have to honestly say, is even better quality than the Legendary Toys, which I felt was similar quality to the original stock MPM Prime, but it was just better painted. So now that that's all out of the way, I wanted to show you guys specifically the left side, because there is something that I messed up. I did start with the Chinese mod steps. Right here, he had said, or whoever did the mod, to cut away at this. Now someone asked me, did I put any tabs in? I took only away from this. I did not put anything in. To put a piece of plastic here to move the tab that's seated right here, that's a part of this gray assembly, or the silver assembly, and have it instead of peg here, it moves it over, so it moves the chest in. Just to free up some room for the peg, I did core into that a little bit, just like on the Chinese mod, to have them sitting closer. Not entirely sure if you need to do it. It seems like it does help. The one thing you do not need to do, and I don't suggest you do it, is cut this tab like I did. I just sheared it right off. I thought that's what I had to do to free up some room as well. Because of this whole thing right here, and also I shaved down a little bit inside here, there's still enough room for the screw to catch, but I did shave some of this off because I had trouble pegging this down. You kind of just have to futz with it a little bit, and it's fine. I didn't do any of that to this side, and this one pegs in maybe 5% more solidly. Like, I can't just tap it after, I can't just pick it up once it's all locked in. This one I can a little bit, but it comes right back down, no problem. So that's just something for you guys to be aware of two things don't do. Don't mess with this piece at all, and you should be fine. There's this piece too, I think Akhtar had talked about, to shear right off. It's like a little blue tab. I just cut that right off. And then got the best lighting I could for you guys. There is a internal blue tab right here that actually acts for a stopper for this hinge. It actually folds up into this hinge as this comes in for vehicle mode, so that the door doesn't come in anymore. There's enough material everywhere around the door. It doesn't impact anything, but it does impact trying to get the chest to sit flush, I have found. So it's better just to cut it right off. It doesn't affect anything else. In vehicle it just improves robot mode, and that's it. It doesn't affect the vehicle stability with the door. So those are the minor things you have to do. The two big things that no one else I have seen has modded this. If you can see right here, there is a little hole. There's a tab right here. There's a hole. There was a piece that bridged right here, a square piece that was connected to the back side, and to this side of the hinge. This made a roof and then a floor, a base right here for the internal tab. This one right here, if you can see. That tab right there, for the stock transformation to plug in. And you can see how far up this ab piece would have to be to plug into here. So I didn't like the look of that. I never really liked using the tab anyway. And if you kept this piece right here, this was too much material and did not allow the window to seat all the way down. To prove that to you guys, here you have the Legendary Toys repaint. You can see it doesn't have that little shelf in there for the tab. It doesn't have that. So you have to make it the same. You have to kind of revert it back to what it was supposed to be. Something happened in Wei Jiang's process. Some people argue that the old prototype was always the way it was supposed to be. There are actually two prototypes. There's the original custom-made one by Black Apple, and then there's the actual prototype to what the final product was. You can tell the stark difference between where the chest windows sit, and also that the Wei Jiang prototype has this right angle that's beveled here. The Black Apple, the Black Apple custom that he did before this went into production has more rounded abs on this piece right here, and they sit in more flush and more sunken in like mine do, and the chest comes down. So there are two prototypes. Don't let anybody tell you that something along the way didn't happen. Something did happen with the design process. Not sure what, but hopefully if you guys try this mod, it'll help. The last important thing, I saved this for last too because this really is the most important thing. I don't know how some of you feel about it. If you're like, I can't stand parts forming. don't go near it then. But I feel like some people that are like with parts forming, they don't care about Bayverse designs anyway. So the last part is this red hinge right here. As you can see, I have this one taken off. Someone actually did spot it, and they said, wait, did you take that out? So yes, I forgot your name on the boards, but you are correct. This is taken out. There was just no room to keep that in. I had two options. I could actually cut away at the silver piece right here. Could just keep shaving that down, and then made enough room for this piece to... It would be here, but this piece to fold up and then sit into this cavity. But that also, like, this whole hinge, like, this whole thing, it's too much because it's not part of the original design. And then they didn't core this out because, you know, this is the hinge for the headache rack. This is a hinge at the top of the portion of the sleeper cab. This is the sternal hinge to fold everything in. You know, it's just, if I did cut away at it, underneath this piece right here is actually painted blue. So that would affect the look of the truck mode. So to me, it was a lot easier and just aesthetically pleasing to just snip these off in a way that I could just immediately put them back on if I wanted to go back into truck mode, and they won't fall off. You see, I can hold this by right here, and it's not coming off. It's just as sturdy as it's supposed to be. But the way I have it cut, it stays here. But if I fold it and I take it like this, I'm going to see if I can show this for you guys on camera, and I wiggle it out. There we go. It just unclips. Doesn't break anything. The plastic is very robust. You know? And it just unclips. And then we can just put those down and put them to the side and keep him like this. So if you do that, you can fold in this chest all the way normally. So it's like that. I'm going to move him back a little bit so you guys can see. So you're going to fold the ab piece like you're normally supposed to. Have this come down. Now, where you want this to sit, you're going to want this to sit, instead of in that tab slot up here, this cavity right here. And you know, like I said, I think there was some other transformation scheme in mind. There's a lot of stuff that they remolded on him, a lot of empty space that they gave you too, just to show you guys too. Hopefully you find this informative and not boring. See all this really nice molded detail on the MPM mold. They actually carved all that out. That doesn't exist. Matrix chamber was completely hidden within. This matrix chamber is very much exposed on the sides. So that's one of the blatant remolds that I can find on the guy to show that they were trying to make room for the new ab pieces, and like I said, there's something that happened along the way that made everything just rise up instead of sit where it was supposed to. So you want to have this come all the way down. And now this piece is going to... It's a little tricky. Let me see if I can do this on camera for you guys. It's not really tricky to do in person. It's just tricky on camera, like everything is. There we go. So that comes down. You can adjust the abs. You know, I have them in a little bit more. You can have them come out a little bit. But now, and I want you guys to be aware of this as well. As you're rotating this up, this is not stressing anything. This is exactly how the figure was supposed to go. Because when this tab comes up, or when this arm piece comes up and goes onto that tab, what was actually straining it is the way that Wei Jiang wanted you to do it. Which is why I think some people were breaking it as well, like Akhtar. I think he said he broke his. So if I can move the, you know, it's very hard with one arm. But you can see that tab lining up right there. The slot in the arm. Put the camera down a little bit. rotate this around. I can easily just put this right here and then easily push it in. I say that and then I couldn't do it. It's better if you just take it, one thumb right here and then a finger on this side of the hinge, I found. Just press it in like that, and there you go. It clips in so much easier. It's less scary to take out after I've done this mod, which is another piece of proof to me that I have restored this to the whole chest plate to the position it was meant to be in. Like I said, hopefully that doesn't cause any breakages for people now, that everything is not being strained and pressed and like pulled upward and everything. So there you can see the full mod all done. I know a couple people wanted to see him from some different angles. Try and get him some good angles for you guys. Let me move this prime over here. There we go, nice directly under the light. Here he is from a full upward angle. There he is from a full downward angle. Side profile, I think that cleans up tremendously well. Like, his backpack now sticks out further than the chest, which I prefer. I don't know if you're wondering, this towel here is just so his chrome doesn't get scratched. Here's a downward frontal profile. Downward side profile, like you're looking up from the side of him. I think that looks really, really, really good. Show you guys the back. In case this is the first time you've been seeing this mold, there's really no English reviews of this guy. I guess I'm one of the first, which is also why I wanted to go into depth talking about a couple extra things now that I've gotten the mod out of the way. So now that we have him done, make sure this camera cooperates with me. Okay. Try and put some more light. There we go. I think I should have tried this position for my light the whole time. This should be good. I'll put him over here. Let me reassemble this guy real quick. Oop. Camera wants to tilt like I said it did. There actually is a reason why I've had him kneeling this whole video, is unfortunately, which is another thing I wanted to bring up for you guys, if you have the legendary toys, or if you have this Jiang, just be careful, you know? I'm very careful with my stuff, and the foot broke off on this legendary toys. No really rhyme or reason. Peg just sheared off, so now his foot is just attached. So I have to try and put a screw in and fix that whole thing. So, a couple comparisons. People were asking about Challenger and everything, how he scales. I know MGO put out a review saying about the Dream Factory Megatron. He was really, really happy because the Black Mamba was just too big. And he was really happy Dream Factory put out a MPM scaled Revenge of the Fallen Megatron, based off of the Studio Series one. I wanted to address in the second part of this video, it is not true MP style. And by that I mean, it's not in 1/30th scale. To me, 1/30th scale is perfect for the MPM line. Based off of the Carbots, you have Bumblebee and you have Barricade so far, and Jazz as well. Bumblebee is just shy of 17 centimeters. Bumblebee in the film as well as Barricade, they're both 16 feet tall. I'm perfectly fine with Bumblebee being a couple millimeters above what he should be. But when you compare him, which was the huge issue, which is why also this Wei Jiang Prime is upscaled, when you put Bumblebee right here, he is supposed to come up to just around the crotch of Optimus. He kind of does here, but this Optimus is too small and just doesn't have anywhere near the bulk he's supposed to. And you can see a couple other comparisons I have here as well in this discussion. This Optimus has always been small. Having him and his level of accuracy that was added to this mold and detail, it's never been more apparent just how wrong this was. So that's a big thing I wanted to show you guys. If you're worried about scale, I've always been kind of a scale guy. I've never been so anal as I have been with the MPM line. I also have Barricade over here to show you guys as well, just as more proof. He is supposed to be 20, and that's also I wanted to get into. He's supposed to be 28 feet tall. He is, depending how you have the hips and the head, 28 to 29 centimeters. That is roughly, because it's not a whole number, unfortunately, when you do the conversion, that's roughly 1/30th scale, which is what I'm just going to go with. It's like true 1/30th. I think he's supposed to be 28.49 or, something like that. It doesn't really matter. But 1/30th scale, I think, is fine to use across the board for all us fans that are collecting the Masterpiece movie figures. And for me, like I said, Masterpiece movie scale is going to be 100% 1/30th. It's not going to be what Hasbro says. They made these two in 1/30th scale. They didn't make Optimus. We have our Optimus in this scale. In contrast, I also wanted to bring up, like I said with Emgo, he said that the Black Mamba Megatron was just way too big. I thought that too, and then I got one for a really good guy in one of the groups. Sent it to me pretty fast, gave me a hell of a deal on it. So if you're watching this, thank you again, man. When I got it and I measured it, it's 100% according to the scale chart, not some shots in the film. According to the official scale charts, he is 100% in scale. He is supposed to be this much bigger than Optimus. He is 35 feet tall. This Megatron is around, depending, how you have the knees and everything, around 35 to 36 centimeters tall. So he is once again in 1/30th scale. So this Black Mamba Megatron actually does work as your Revenge of the Fallen Masterpiece slot for your collection. The Dream Factory does not. The Dream Factory does scale with the MPM Megatron, the MPM Optimus, the official mold, which we've just established is not in scale with Bumblebee, who is in scale of the 1/30th height that we're trying to get. So Bumblebee and Barricade work. Jazz is a little bit shorter. Jazz is 15 feet tall. The official Jazz works for me. This Optimus works. This Megatron works. The MPM Megatron from movie 1 does not work. The KO does not work. The upscaled Wei Jiang KO and now the Aoi mech that's rebranded Black Mamba they're both the same height as this Megatron, so they both work. They're both, I believe, 36 centimeters tall. Roughly that, So, might not have looked it in the movie. I did want to put this to bed. If you're trying for 1/30th scale, these are the ones to pick up. I know shout out to Terry Wong. I got the last Optimus from his second batch. Saw that on Instagram. Sniped that thing real quick. He got it out to me as quick as he could. I know a lot of people are really waiting for that third batch to come in, so just hang in there, guys. If you do my mod and you like it, and you try it yourself and it's successful, you're going to love him even more. He's definitely worth it. I'll put Megatron to the side. Actually, you know what? I'm going to keep him. I'm going to put Bumblebee over here. Because I wanted to... Someone asked specifically, a couple people, how does he scale the Challenger? I guess they're waiting on theirs. They want to see the difference. Challenger was much more in scale MPM wise. When it comes to with Bumblebee, he is no longer. He was still a little bit short. After I got him, I already knew this. He's exactly, to me, the proportion, the height, what he's supposed to be compared to Bumblebee and other people. Megatron is to him. Challenger was my figure of 2018 of anything that I've seen come out or that I purchased. He's fantastic. Just as much as Parochial, who's hiding back there. He doesn't scale. So, he is bigger. Seeing these two side by side is completely fine to me. But just so you guys know, he's definitely the upgrade. He's a bit taller than MPM Prime. He's the upgrade to him. He's not the upgrade to this when it comes to height or just shifting it over. You would have to... I think the Toy World one's supposed to be bigger than him. Probably around more this size. So that would work in your display. I don't really like how the Toy World one looks. But just so you guys had that comparison, especially the one dude I know that was asking about that. Here you have Parochial Lockdown. This scale, again, works much better. Lockdown's 22 feet tall to Optimus is 28 feet tall. He is shorter than Challenger, but he is not as short and just thin and scrawny compared to Optimus, which was like the huge juxtaposition that he was the one taking down Optimus, even though he's like this tiny guy, turns into a Lamborghini instead of a Western Star. This to me works a lot more, So just, again, why this one works comparison to other figures. And then we have my biggest issue in the collection. You have Leader Class Starscream is 30, some people say 31 to 33 feet tall. Definitely more towards Megatron's height. He does not scale at all. He doesn't really scale, I don't think, with Revenge of the Fallen Prime. He doesn't scale with this Wei Jiang. He more scales with the MPM Prime. But we need a new one. I've seen the Black Mamba compared to this mold. Black Mamba just edges him out by half a head. It's still not in the scale, which I don't really understand why. When they made him such a beast, they didn't make him the appropriate scale. The Black Mamba Studio Series oversized. So for me, I'm still waiting on an official good Starscream to have. And the last thing I wanted to go over, I know I try to make this short and then this turned into a longer thing that I wanted. When it comes to crossing over the streams of the Bayverse and the Nightverse, apparently, according to scale charts, if they're correct, Optimus is 16 feet tall. I saw somebody post this and I didn't think this was true. Bumblebee, like I've said, is 16 feet tall. You know what's the same height as Bumblebee? Is the Studio Series Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime. This is actually in Masterpiece scale. If you're going 1/30th scale, this is the scale. He's 16 centimeters tall. He's around 28, 29, the 28 feet to 16 feet tall. So if you were to actually make in 1/30th scale a Masterpiece movie of the Bumblebee cast, you would have to have an Optimus Prime that is this small, not which looks beautiful, it looks like the 3A one, honestly, the Toy World Masterpiece that I think is more at the height of this guy, which is not bad, it would be nice to have that too. But if you were really a huge scale junkie, and you were trying to cross both of the live-action universes, you would actually have to have a Masterpiece Prime from the Bumblebee film this small. Which Toy World has done. They made Bulldog, they made the World War II Bumblebee, they've done it. They can make Masterpiece stuff with that level of engineering and paint in this small Studio Series scale. So I don't see any reason why they can't condense and shrink their Toy World Prime, their Masterpiece Prime, into this scale so it matches up with the Bayverse. But that's about it, guys. I hope you found this informative. I hope I didn't bore you guys too much. I hope you kind of just sat back and relaxed and listened. Let me know what you guys think, either on the boards or on this video or whatever. I'm uploading this to YouTube. I'm going to send a link into the boards if it's going to allow me. And please post comments on this video, post comments in the boards, photos. If you guys have any questions, if you're not sure about the mod, I would love to answer anything. I definitely have time to answer questions like that. This was the only time I really had to make the video. So again, apologize it took this long, but you know, I finally got it out there for you guys.